It's going to kind of be a video sort of paying homage to Jimmy Dore, but also mentioning just how things can change over the years. He would be one of the main influences of, trying to do this YouTube thing, yeah, but I mean, he'd be one of the main influences just of the way I view politics and just where I am in my life as far as paying attention to politics and social things. And it just kind of shows you how things change over the years. And me and him have kind of had similar happenstances. I know he's had some health problems. I'm not going to get into his health problems. I'm not even going to get into my health problems. But I've had problematic health issues, problematic mobility issues here and there in my life. I've had, I guess everybody has to some extent, a lot of people have anyway, had people they thought would be friends for their entire lives, and then they're not. And seems to have done a lot better marriage-wise, I will say that. But it's a joy seeing their chemistry. And I could sit here and probably go on for hours and talk about my favorite moments I've seen on his the YouTube clips. I don't do too much of the live streaming thing. I need to. I just don't have time to. I don't really have much knowledge about it. But the chemistry that him and his wife have together is just fantastic. And, you know, she's awesome too. Steph Zamoro, if I pronounced that correctly. But, you know, it's just, I remember, matter of fact, well, never mind that. I was going to get, I don't know where it is, and not as organized as I thought it was. But I'd recorded his Comedy Central Presents and some special from Comedy Central years ago when it first came out. So I go that far back. But, you know, it's just funny how things change over the years. And he's been part of the reason that I've sort of changed. I mean, years ago, I was too young to vote for him, but I was pretty much pro-George Bush. George W. Bush. I'm not that old. Just didn't know any better, you know. And I had great hope for Barack Obama, which, you know, maybe he did too at that time. But I've kind of went in sequence to, and he's been sort of a guide. And that's not to say I agree with everything that he says. Me and him could disagree on a whole lot of things. But I don't think, the reason why I bring it up is a lot of times in life, there's people that, it's kind of one of the painful things in life. They'll have, there'll be people that you owe something to, part of who you are too. And it'll be shameful what they turn into. You know, speaking because he's a comedian, you know, there's been a lot of comedians that were inspired by Bill Cosby, and then to find that out. You know, even though on a smaller detail, the smaller amount, Louis C.K., you know. I don't think he's a person that I can ever be ashamed of being influenced by, inspired by, and that's a great thing. And, you know, he's got Kurt on there, and the funny thing is about Kurt, I used to hate Kurt. I don't remember what it is. I need to watch his Comedy Central Presents because I remember seeing him on there too. And I saw him on a few other little things. Did not like him at all. He's been extremely funny on there, and that's not to say I agree with everything he says. You always got to throw that out there if people get the wrong idea. Oh, that means you're like clones of each other? No. But he's with it on a whole lot of things. A whole lot of things I disagree with him on, but he's with it on a whole lot of things, and it's great to see people sort of evolving. And it kind of lets you know that you can evolve too, you know. There's no shame in your heart being in the right place and ended up going in the wrong direction because it's what you thought at the time. You do the best you can with what you know at the time. And unfortunately, a lot of times, you know, a camera might be pointing at you at the time. Fortunately, I didn't have that problem, but I'm not going to stretch this on too long, but I did want to sort of thank him. And it's not so much like I'm thanking him for what I got going here on YouTube, because it's not much yet. I'd be definitely premature for that. This is more of being thankful for my mindset, and I would kind of equate it to, since I'm a wannabe guitar player also, a great inspiration musically. It doesn't mean that you're going to imitate them. You're going to try to be exactly like them. What you get from them is, you know, they're being themselves and they're doing their own thing. It should inspire you to do your own thing. You're not supposed to try to be a carbon copy of them. And it's kind of funny because I've been accused several times some years back of being Jimmy Dore, like a sock puppet account. Imagine that. I don't think AI could even pull this off. But as I said, I could probably go on about bits that I've seen them do on there. And I could mention the things that I disagree with. But that's another point right there to bring up during this. Is people have got to be careful. If there's someone that you like, you respect, you owe a lot to. You know, it's fine. You have to also let yourself disagree with them. But you got to be careful about how you do it when it comes to sort of a revolutionary voice, because you kind of load the gun, so to speak, for the opposition. You know, if you have some kind of issue with them, it doesn't mean you don't mention it. I'd keep it a little quieter, because it gets out, then people that are just trying to tear people apart or use it against each other. You know, the detractors are always going to be there. But I need to really catch up on his show more. Ending up with less and less time. And I was going to save this until, you know, maybe his birthday or something like that, and throw in like a happy birthday at the same time. But I figured I would do it now. Things are kind of picking up a little bit. And that right there shows you why you really need to do this show, if you're like me anyway, do something like this with more than one person. If you're scatterbrained like I am, you got too much going on, you lose your train of thought a whole lot. Need somebody to jump in, somebody off to the side, like he's fading, say something. But anyway, I sort of split this up into two things. Because another great help for me has been Kit Cabello of Hardlands Media. And I will say, a funny perspective with him, and I'm not making fun, you got to be careful because there's always detractors that'll try to use something. His thing is, something I found funny, just as an aside, is his distances from the camera. I mean, years ago, you know, you watch him, he's way back here somewhere. It's like, who's talking? You know, and then you check more recently, and he's right up here, you know. You know, turn it on, he's going to be behind you. But anyway, he sort of teaches me to be diplomatic. You know, whereas Jimmy Dore is more diplomatic than he gets credit for. I have said before in the past that obviously me and him have had sort of parallels, similar things in life, similar but different. And my temper is a lot worse than his. He seems to flare up a little bit here and there, but my temper, I have to really rein mine in, really rein it in. He sort of keeps his mind more when he gets mad. I lose it, turn into Frankenstein. so I've kind of I have to watch that. And you know, Kit seems to be able to stay so civil. You know, and he's been through some stuff. And he seems he's so diplomatic and civil and accepting. And that kind of, you know, if I ever do get some kind of real sort of show going, I definitely need somebody I can, who can kind of keep me more grounded. Not just to jump in when my mind wanders, ADD and all that. But someone who can keep me from losing my cool here and there. I've had a few outbursts. I expect it could get a lot worse. I'm more in control than I used to be. But that's two that I try to watch a whole lot. I do check out Dissidence, Revolutionary Blackout Network, whatever Craig Pasta Jardula is doing. Hope I pronounced that right. There's a few more of them. There's more I want to mention, but I've only read their names and I haven't pronounced it. I'm not very good at that. There are a lot more. There's a lot of good ones out there. And I have to sort of do this to sort of thank them. And again, it's not for this right here, because that's way premature. This isn't exactly a rip-roaring success yet. This is just sort of thanking them for being where I am now. You know, thank you for being you and helping me be me. Pretty much what it is. And you know, Lee Camp would be another one. And he struggled here and there. And he's had a really, really hard time. But just as he says, you know, and to everybody I've mentioned and the people I haven't mentioned, I'll end up probably typing something in. But, you know, as he says, keep fighting.